The Mesopotamians were the first astronomers to keep written records of all of their observations. They were some of the first to make any observations at all on any of the celestial bodies. They created the ziggurat and used that as their observatories for observing stuff. They were the first to name any of the stars and the constellations.
The Egyptians developed a calendar to be used for calculating the Nile flood, and when they were building their society, they aligned their buildings and pyramids with celestial bodies and directions.
Sir Norman Lockyer discovered that the sun rises at the end of the main axis of Stonehenge at the summer solstice, and Gerald Hawkins surmised that Stonehenge is aligned with 12 major lunar and solar events, and he discovered that lunar eclipses could be predicted using Stonehenge.
The Chinese had an ancient zodiac called the Yellow Path, and they recorded time and made a circle of 365.25 days to make a full year. They also predicted eclipses, and if they were incorrect, they'd be beheaded.
In 547 BC, the Egyptians taught Thales how to find the distance to a ship from 2 points on shore, and how to calculate the height of pyramids from shadows. He also predicted a solar eclipse.
Pythagoras made a model of the solar system and proved that planets were spheres and that they moved in circles. He also was the first to prove the Pythagorean theorem.
The Babylonians used long records of observations to see patterns in the motion of the moon and planets. They also found that if you wanted to know where planets would be in a month, then you would check the records from 47 years ago for that month.
Aristotle proved that the Earth moves in a circular motion because it's the only thing that can go on forever. He also proved through the 4 elements that Earth is a sphere because of gravity. He also thought that Earth was the center of the universe.
Around 300 BC, Aristarchus applied geometry to astronomy and calculated the distance to the moon by Earth's shadow during an eclipse. He also found that the sun is 19 times more distant than the moon is to Earth, and the sun is 7 times bigger than the Earth. Eratosthenes
Was the first to calculate the circumference of the Earth, the tilt of Earth's axis, and the distance between the Earth and Sun. He also created leap day.
Around 190 BC, Hipparchus carried out the ideas and methods of Aristarchus. He discovered that there are only 360 degrees in a circle, and he found the first nova and developed a star catalog.
Mayans and Mesoamericans gave more accurate estimates of Sidonic periods than Ptolemy, and found the length of a tropical solar year more accurate than the Spanish.
Around 126 AD, Ptolemy created his Almagest, which included mathematical motions of the sun, moon, and planets. He also devised new geometric proofs and theorems, and many of the scientists of that day and age did not like Ptolemy, but many others did.
Ptolemy's model of an Earth-centered universe formed the basis of their studies, but they made more accurate observations and calculations than Ptolemy. Muslims also studied astronomy for religious uses.
Copernicus created the first model showing that the Earth orbits the Sun, also known as the heliocentric theory. He wrote 2 books during his lifetime, and the second of which was banned by the Roman Catholic Church after his death.
Brahe constructed many of his own scientific instruments. He made accurate and precise observations without using a telescope, and he made many contributions to the lunar theory.
Galileo discovered that the moon had an uneven surface. He also conducted an experiment by dropping objects off the Leaning Tower of Pisa to prove that heavier objects don't fall faster. He also discovered 4 of Jupiter's massivest moons.
Kepler established the laws of planetary motion, which became known as Kepler's laws. He defended the idea that planets orbit the sun and that the planets' paths aren't perfect circles.
After an apple fell on his head off a tree, Isaac Newton discovered and created the laws of universal gravitation as well as the laws of motion. He also discovered and created calculus.
Halley discovered that comets have periodic orbits. He also predicted the return of Halley's Comet.
Einstein is often referred to as the father of modern physics due to his theory of relativity, discovering the laws of photoelectric effect, and creating the formula for energy.
Bohr was best known for his substantial contributions to the quantum theory and his Nobel Prize-winning research on the structure of atoms.
Wolfgang Pauli is known for his work on the spin theory as well as the quantum theory, as well as proposing the Pauli exclusion principle, which states that no two electrons can occupy the same quantum state simultaneously. He also proposed the quantum number.
Heisenberg developed new theories in quantum mechanics about the behavior of electrons. He also discovered the uncertainty principle, which explains the impossibility of knowing exactly where something is and how fast it's moving.
Edwin Hubble designed and created the Hubble telescope. He discovered that the Milky Way galaxy was not the entire universe, as well as creating the Hubble classification system of planets.
Lemaitre proposed the theory of the expansion of the universe, as well as the Big Bang theory, which he calls the cosmic egg.
Robert Oppenheimer is often considered the father of the atomic bomb. He's the one who led the Manhattan Project in creating the first atomic bombs used on Japan.
Hoyle was a defender of the steady-state theory of the universe, and he was well known for his theory of stellar nucleosynthesis and for his controversial stances on other scientific matters.
Penzias and Wilson discovered the cosmic microwave background radiation, which helped cause evidence for the Big Bang theory and against the steady-state universe, as well as advancing the Big Bang model.
Armstrong was the first man to pilot a spacecraft to and walk on the moon. Aldrin also walked on the moon and was known for his cycling space transportation system and reusable rocket boosters.